Hello everyone, and welcome to another OddsChecker.com/US preview of a primetime football game. We're getting spoiled with primetime games this week. We had two on Monday night, the Washington football team and the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Buffalo Bills with the San Francisco 49ers. On Tuesday Night Football, we are going to have the Dallas Cowboys playing at the Baltimore Ravens. If you go to OddsChecker.com/US, you can get the best odds available for this game. And heading over there, we can see that the Ravens are 8.5-point home favorites. They are minus 357 on the money line, and the total for this game is 49.5. And this is quite an interesting game. The Ravens started out the year 5-1. They were looking great. They had that terrible loss to the Kansas City Chiefs, but things have really fallen by the wayside for the Ravens. They are now 25th in the NFL in yards per play. They lost their game with their COVID game basically on Wednesday night against the Pittsburgh Steelers 14-19. They lost in overtime to the Titans. They lost an embarrassing game to the Patriots back on November 15th. And of course, they lost that last game against the Steelers as well. Basically, since their bye week, they really have not looked like the same team. And, Lamar Jackson definitely is a big part of that. Last year, he was the unanimous league MVP, led the league in passing touchdowns, threw only 6 interceptions for the entire year. This year, in 10 games, he is now down at a 5.4% touchdown rate, much closer to league average, and he is averaging 7.1 YPA compared to 7.8 last year. A lot of people expected that, another year for Marquise Brown, that Devin Duvernay, Miles Boykin, that these guys could step up. J.K. Dobbins would add some firepower, and that really hasn't happened. So that's the negative with Baltimore. If you wanted to look on the bright side, they are still 8th in the NFL in DVOA, 11th in the NFL in weighted DVOA. The defense is still great, 7th in the NFL in defensive DVOA, 2nd in the NFL in special teams DVOA, 24th in offensive DVOA. Their opponent, the Cowboys, though, it's just hard to point to anything positive about this team. They are just so brutal. They are turning the ball over like crazy, 31st in the NFL in both turnovers and takeaways. The passing offense is now averaging 6 yards per net adjusted attempt, and that is, by the way, including the Dak Prescott numbers when they were crushing it earlier in the year against the Falcons, Seahawks, Browns, and for part of the game against the Giants. Dak Prescott still leads this team in passing yards. That's a true story. The team has thrown for 3,200 passing yards. Dak has accumulated more than half of those. Andy Dalton has been really poor in his time starting. He is averaging 5.7 YPA. That is way worse than his career YPA of 7.1. And that kind of makes me want to take the Cowboys here. It kind of makes me want to take the Cowboys here. This is why I'm going to be taking the Ravens. First off, I think that the Cowboys have much better chance of clawing back into some of these games with elite offenses, but mediocre defenses. I think mediocre offense, great defense is a bad recipe for the Cowboys. We saw that play out on Thanksgiving. We saw it play out against the Steelers. It's just it's very difficult for them to move the ball, and it's impossible for them to stop even mediocre offenses. So I don't love this line. And in fact, I would not bet the Ravens money line. If I had to bet one of the money lines, I wouldn't bet the Cowboys money line either, but I do like the Ravens here, minus 8.5. It certainly is not one of the most confident picks that I have made this year, but it's too hard to lay money on Andy Dalton on the road against a defense that is this great. And also, the Ravens should have most of their COVID absences back at this point. It's possible that they still have a few on the reserve COVID list, but for the most part, they are going to have their starters back. And then again, no lean on the total for me either at 49.5, but we are going to be taking the Ravens here at minus 8.5. And you should be able to get that at even money on most books. So on Tuesday night, we are going to take the Ravens. Everyone head over to oddschecker.com/US for more of the best available odds, and good luck with your bets.